This is TransAfricaRadio.
In the studio, I'm joined by Andrew Herold. He's a screenwriter and, of course, an author. Andrew, so lovely to have you in the studio.
How are you doing?
I'm fantastic. I watched the trailer for Doris Peace, and you know when you taste yourself, the easiest way for me to explain is when I actually do it. When you go, tasting yourself.
Absolutely.
That's how delicious it was.
Yes.
And you wrote the screenplay.
Yes, I did write the screenplay. And the trailer was edited by the director, Costa, who is the best editor in the country, incidentally.
You see, this is unfair that people have so many talents and all I do is sort of speak behind the mic.
Oh, well, no, you do it very well, I would say.
I've paid you very well to say that, Andrew, and your check is in the mail. Thank you so much for joining us in the studio. We're going to be talking everything about Doris Peace, but more importantly, about you and your journey in writing. I mean, it was so great to hear you speak about how you spent sort of half your time in England and half your time in South Africa.
Yes.
And writing has sort of been your profession of choice, the instrument that you use through the world. Why writing when so many glamorous jobs are available in the world of entertainment? What captivated you about writing?
I think writing is a way of talking to yourself and trying to explain what the world means to you. That's always been the way that I've seen it. You write in order to explain your world.
Yeah.
And it's always been the same for me. And it's something that I love doing. Time just flies when I'm writing.
Yeah.
And I just can't imagine doing anything else.
I mean, it's so interesting because, the idea of writing, we always just think, you could keep a journal and you sort of put down your thoughts that way. But
I do that as well sometimes.
Seriously?
Yes.
Which one of those disciplines of writing, because I've come to understand now, I mean, just in our conversation of air, that, there's so many different ways of writing. Writing for a novel is very different to for a screenplay. It's very different to, a script. Which for you is sort of, the tool that you most use?
I think writing a script, you've got to remember that you're not writing for yourself. You're not writing for something actually to be read. You are writing as a blueprint for what you want the film to be. And I think, when I try and write, I try and make it so it's as close to what the movie will be.
Okay.
Without actually putting cameras out and getting actors.
Rigging things around, getting lighting out.
Yes.
It's just such a wonderful thing because, I think the art of writing in particular has always been seen as sort of a dead art.
Really?
We see people who come through now and they're telling us that print media is dead. The newspaper is irrelevant. You're now on Twitter and you're getting all this very fast feedback. But people don't realize just how much of the stuff they see on television needed to be screenwritten, screenplayed, the copy and the ads that they do.
Yeah, Twitter, I don't know whether you can call that writing.
It isn't.
Although it is of a kind, I suppose.
It is a field of very hostile people insulting each other in very short sentences.
It's very dangerous, I would say.
It is quite dangerous, I would say as well. But when you started looking at the work you've written, 2003 is when you started, I think, with what am I looking at? The Company You Keep.
Yeah, that was the first of my screenplays that was actually filmed.
Yeah.
But I've been writing a long time before that.
Yeah.
I'd say that I've probably written about 15. I would say about 15 screenplays.
Okay.
And of those screenplays, only 3 of them, so far, have been made into movies.
What does it take for it to be taken and converted into a movie?
Basically money.
Yeah.
If you've got the money, then you're good to go.
Yeah.
Basically money. I mean, that's what it is. It costs a lot, to make a movie. Although it doesn't cost as much as it used to. What with the digital revolution and what have you. But it still costs a lot.
Yeah.
And so That's the basically biggest like stumbling block.
Is the industry is there political will, is there business will, is there financial will to start or continue funding these projects? Because if you've got a writer who's willing to put out 15 scripts of a high caliber of work, and I can say that confidently because you've been discussing off air some of the work that you've done, why must it be so difficult when you've got the talent for it to be on screen? Because you're telling our stories at the end of the day.
Well, I think it's a matter of, as a writer, they say that you've got to write 1 million words before you can write anything good.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's true. I don't know if I've even got to 1 million. I I might have. But it took a long time, before I could say, okay, well, this is a good screenplay. This is something that I think it could be translated into a movie. I don't actually believe in talent. I just believe that if you really want to do something, you'll do it. At the beginning, when I was writing my first things, I look at them now, I think, oh my God, what was I doing?
What was I
thinking?
But isn't that part of the process that you kind of have to, hone the craft over a while, and you look back and you sort of edit and you advance and you sort of upgrade a few things.
Yes, it is. And I think that most of it is it's the work itself. If you keep on doing it, and you write enough, you will eventually come up with something that has got some quality.
Yeah. When we look at the world of writing, I've always said this too, especially with fashion designers. You are creating from nothing. By nothing, I mean that because it's plagiarism if you do it from someone else.
Blank page, as they used to say. Although we don't use pages anymore.
Yeah, a blank
I do.
screen.
I write everything in longhand first.
In hand?
Yeah.
Wow, those manuscripts will be worth millions one day. And
yes,
mark my words.
Yes, absolutely.
Mark my words.
Absolutely.
But you're creating from nothing.
Yes.
So you from inspiration, from creativity, but you have a blank page. You have nothing to adapt. You have nothing to mold into whatever. It all comes fresh, firsthand.
Sure.
What is the process when you sit behind your piece of A4 paper?
Okay, well, with me, when I'm doing a movie, I sit with the director first. And I worked with the same director, on 2 of the movies. And we're very close friends. He basically tells me what he wants.
Okay.
He says, I want a story that involves this and that and that. And sometimes, he'll give me a bit of a push into the right direction to say, look, I want it to start like this, I want it to end like this. I keep on telling him that, one of the first scripts that we wrote together, he was adamant that he wanted to start with this image.
Yeah.
And when we made the finished film, that image was nowhere
to be found.
So things change a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was looking at the original outline of Doris Peace actually today.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have any kind of. It's kind of similar to the finished film, but that's about it. We've changed the story quite a lot.
Does that happen after you started shooting and you find that something that you had screenplayed initially didn't work?
No, it's before shooting.
Yeah.
You've got to get your script right, before you shoot anything.
Get a nice flat layer down.
Yes.
So now you're writing, and you've got we'll use Doris Peace as an example.
Sure.
And so you've got the story going on, and often when you tell a story, right, you sort of deviate into a corner and you sort of thinking in your mind. When you're writing all those things down, how do you keep yourself from sort of, deviating from the plan? Because
when
again,
you're writing a screenplay, a screenplay is all about structure. If you've got the structure right, you're halfway there. The structure is what you build your screenplay on. And so first you get your structure right. And so that when you're actually writing it, there is very little deviation.
Yeah.
There might be a scene which you think, oh, okay, I could put this in here. But basically, what you have kind of structured, you've done it in advance.
Yeah. So let's talk about Doris Peace, which I found quite interesting. It stars the likes of Khabonina. We've got Danny. I'm going to try and pronounce his surname without butchering it. Kyoch, Danny. Shubi Mboya.
Danny Kyo.
Kyoch, my bad.
Kyo. Yes.
My apologies, Mr. Keo.
Yes.
Yes, my Zulu tongue sometimes gets the better of me.
He's a very celebrated actor.
Yes.
Very celebrated.
Ronnie Nyakele, who is very familiar with us on our TV screen. Pablo Koza, who's actually, incidentally, in a series in South Africa called The Queen, where he plays a Koza-san again.
Yes, that's right.
The similarities are quite interesting over there. So, I mean, Doris Peace, without giving too much away, because I think we all need to go watch the movie. The trailer was captivating, Andrew.
Yes.
It was absolutely captivating, and it's a story that is... You look at it and you're kind of like, oh, okay, what's happening next? And I was sort of unhappy with you because the trailer was a bit short in my view.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, you could have given me an extra 35 minutes. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Just 35 minutes, nothing more.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the story of Doris Peace.
Okay, well, it's basically the story of a South African woman who just happens to be a sex worker. And she's basically childless, but a series of events kind of makes her the one who has to protect a young boy.
Yes.
From the criminals, basically.
Yeah.
And so basically she's thrust into a situation which is not of her doing, but where she feels compelled to act.
Yeah.
And it's basically her story. It's a story of salvation.
I think it's. I mean, I've read extensively on Doris Peace, and you look at the shock value of having a sex worker who, in our minds, we see those characters are very strong, hardened women, in the city of Johannesburg, really, really deep, and then she's now tasked with looking after this young child. And now, the world is coming alive to the story of Doris Peace because the awards are streaming in. I mean, you've got the AMAAs coming through. You've got that nomination in the Boston Film Festival last year. It was last year.
This year,
yes. The 15th Boston Film Festival over there.
Yeah.
So it's doing very well. There's just, as far as the story goes, was it important for you for it to be a story that we could recognize of similar people, sex worker, that we have an idea of what they look like, and then sort of interrogate them so that we start seeing beyond just what we think we know about them?
Yeah, well, I think the story of Doris Peace is basically a universal one. She's a woman, who is she's in a particular situation.
Yeah.
I mean, she could be a woman from anywhere. I think a woman in China can maybe empathize with what she's going through, because it's a universal thing. We all want to protect our children. Well, not all of us.
Yeah.
But all the good ones. All the good people in the world. We want to protect our children. And I think that is the universal theme that runs through Doris Peace. She's every woman, basically. She's not a mother, but she becomes a mother.
Yeah. So the story. So you're writing the story down, and Khabonina plays the mother,
Dora, yes.
Who's tasked with looking after this young boy.
Yes, and she's wonderful.
Absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning.
And she paid me a lot of money to say that.
Yes. So you're getting 2 checks today, then, hey?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, Khabonina. Was it 100,000, 120,000?
No, she's wonderful. No, she.
But I mean, when you look at the story and how it evolves and continues, and the universality of the story. We sometimes we write, and we when you look at a piece of writing or a movie, you sort of start watching it and you become quite indulgent. You get these big names who come into the story, and you kind of attach yourself to Khabonina or Ronnie or Danny. Has the story played out as you intended? Has the movie come around as you intended?
Well, that's a very good question. I think it has, because ultimately I think film is a director's medium.
Okay.
And the director is ultimately the one, who makes the hard choices, they're the ones who are in charge of casting. I've told Khabonina that when she was cast, I thought she was a bit too young.
Okay.
But I think that the way that she played it, I think that she does it better than anybody I could imagine. I can't imagine anybody else in that character besides Khabonina.
When you started writing Dora's piece, right? And I need to ask why the peace element of it, because
Okay, well, it's a bit of a play on words. Peace is the boy's name.
Ah, okay.
And so Doris Peace.
Yes.
But you could say that peace has lots of other connotations.
Yes. Especially in the industry she works in, where she seems to be without peace a lot.
Yes. Yeah, there's a gun involved also, so you could say that Dora's Peace in that way. Like it's a slightly different spelling, but you could take it there.
I like it.
Yes, I don't want to give too much else away, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, like there are many meanings that could come from it.
So I mean, just go watch the trailer. Just go watch the trailer, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Because Khabonina does a sterling job. I think also Boya does a great job as well.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
She's just got this very intense face that just you get the chills down your spine.
And she won a SAFTA for it.
Exactly. And I happened to interview her actually at the SAFTAs right after she's going to win for that. Yes, I did. Right. Yes, I did. And I think she's just got she is very dynamic, and also you could tell also that she's the kind of person who the story for her was a bit bigger. I think, especially in light of what's happening right now. And my next question to you was going to be, you know, when I was in drama school, the best way to get an A in an essay was for you to say theatre, or in this case, film imitates life. You are representing what's happening in life. And to see how chillingly close this idea of, you know, the femicide happening in the country right now, or the way it's been highlighted. You know, I don't think it's happening less or more. I think it's just, it was thrown into sharp relief with the Karabo Mokwena's story. And then having Doris Peace, and I thought, what an interesting moment for these two stories to meet, where, you know, you have men who exploit women on a daily basis. In this case, Dora is a sex worker, and, you know, not by choice, I'm sure, but it's such an interesting parallel. Did you ever find that the story, I guess you can't foretell where your story is going to be told and how it's going to be told and when it will be told, but do you see any, I won't call it divine, but, you know, just the irony in the two stories?
Not really, because I think, unfortunately, I mean, these stories are always with us. We have this particular story at the moment, but I mean, a couple of months ago, there would be other stories.
Yeah.
And women are victimized too much in our society.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have written a story like this if it wasn't the case.
Yeah.
You know, so like it's always going to be with us, but you can never kind of foretell things in those.
Yeah.
That way.
But when you start creating these stories, I mean, where does the inspiration come from? You know, because I mean, as you say, the stories are always with us. So do you go out looking for those stories? Yeah.
Okay, there's no such thing as inspiration when it comes to writing, really. Like especially when you're writing something for somebody.
This is TransAfrica Radio.